Hi, my submission for AI agent intensive vibe coding capstone project is titled as Argus, an AI investigation, fraud investigation team built with Google's agent development kit and Gemini. The one line pitch: agents investigate every alert and a human makes every call. Here is why that ordering matters. Bank generates thousands of fraud alerts. Most are false alarms, but every single one needs a human to gather evidence, check policies, and write a defensible decision. That's slow, inconsistent, and it doesn't scale. And the obvious shortcut, passing the transaction into one LLM prompt, fails exactly where the fraud is unforgiving. No real evidence, no audit trail, and confident hallucinations. A made up justification that freezes a real customer's account is worse than no answer at all. Why agents? Because a fraud investigation is a 5 fundamentally different jobs. Gathering evidence is tool calling. Reasoning over it is a LLM work but grounded. Every claim must cite its evidence. Applying regulation should not be an LLM. A regulator wants deterministic rules that fit identically every time. Verification is adversarial, a second model trying to break the first one's claims, and the decision is human. One prompt can't be all 5 things at once. A team of specialist agents can, and each one is separately testable and auditable. Here is the whole system. An alert enters and the orchestrator plans the investigation. The retriever pulls evidence through 5 data tools served over MCP server. 6 million payslip transactions with the ground truth label stripped, so agents can never peek at the answer. The analyzer scores risk with mandatory evidence citation. The policy engines run deterministic anti-money laundering rules. Then the critic, a second model, fact checks every claim against the evidence bundle and bounces anything unsupported back for revision. The case assembler fuses model and rules into a case file that is always pending human approval. And a cost-aware router keeps routine cases on flash, elevating only ambiguous or $1 million calls to pro. Every step lands in a replayable audit trail. The trust layer is the point of the design. The critic is prompted to refute, not agree. Here is a real example from the eval. The analyzer claimed 12 outgoing transfers. The evidence showed 6. The claim was rejected and revised. Around that, PII is masked before any model call. Every agent's output is schema validated. The data tool stripped the ground truth label so agents can't cheat, and nothing freezes without a human's written rationale. We measured it honestly. The same 80 labeled alerts, a single prompt baseline versus full args. Args wins on every metric, and in the 6 cases where the two systems disagreed, Argus was right in 5. It caught 39 of 40 frauds. One honest caveat: the legitimate alerts were deliberately chosen to look like fraud. $500,000 transfers. So precision is hard for both systems. That's what makes the comparison meaningful rather than flattering. Now let's see it for real. This is the analyst workbench and this is the live queue. We pick a cache out alert and investigate. One click and the real pipeline runs. The orchestrator plans, the retriever calls the data, tools over MCP, the analyzer scores the risk, policy fires its rules, the critic verifies it, and the case file is assembled pending for human approval. Here is the finished case file. A $1.5 million transfer. The evidence chart shows this account's entire history, 0 prior transactions, then a single transfer that empties the balance to exactly 0. The exact balance drain rule fired. The amount equals the old balance to the cent. The critic verified every claim against the evidence and noticed the router row. This case crossed the $1 million threshold, so the whole investigation was escalated to Gemini 2.5 Pro, and even that decision is lodged for the auditor. And here is the entire point of the design. Argus recommends, it cannot act. Approving requires a written rationale confirmed. And those exact words are now a permanent row in the audit trail, right below every agent step and tool call. Finally, any case can be interrogated. Answers come only from the case's evidence and audit trail. If the record doesn't contain the answers, Argus says so, it never guesses. That's Argus. Agents do the investigation, evidence over MCP, deterministic policy, a critic that fact checks every claim, and a human makes every call, with a full audit trail in between. Code, eval harness, and setup instructions are on GitHub. Thanks for watching.